Welcome to Beauty and the Biz. Discover how to grow your practice with effective cosmetic patient attraction, conversion, and retention advice from author, speaker, trainer, and cosmetic practice business and marketing coach, Catherine Maley, MBA.
Hello and welcome to Beauty and the Biz, where we talk about the business and marketing side of plastic surgery. I'm your host, Catherine Maley, author of Your Aesthetic Practice and consultant to plastic surgeons to get them more patients and more profits. Today's episode is going to be centered on content creation marketing, because if you've noticed your website traffic declining and or your leads that are coming in are not fantastic, it's really not your imagination. Google keeps messing with the algorithms and sends a lot more traffic to the authority sites like your medical societies instead of directly to you. Now, one way to combat that is with content creation marketing. So you use content to educate your preferred patients to learn more about procedures from you. So these would-be patients contact you when they're ready. So the point is to create and distribute valuable, relevant, and consistent content that attracts the right audience who's interested in cosmetic rejuvenation with the intent to drive them to you for your services. So actually, it's the opposite of mainstream advertising. So instead of pitching your services to the masses and telling them what you offer and how wonderful you are, you instead focus on addressing prospective cosmetic patients' needs. Because in a world of relentless information coming at the consumer, they only hear what they're interested in at that moment. And they seek out that information and come to you instead when you have the answers they need. So, content marketing has got lots of advantages. First, there's brand awareness, because it gets you found by the right audience who could want your services. It also builds trust and makes you the expert patients trust. It includes audience engagement because it encourages the interaction with you and the prospective cosmetic patients. It's also great for lead generation because it's identifying those who are most likely to want your services. It also builds loyalty because your content is retaining your current patients who continue to be interested in your services. It also builds profitability because it's compelling your audience to take action and choose you for their procedures. And then it also decreases advertising costs. Content marketing is of minimal cost, or it's even free, or it's at least a whole lot cheaper than standard advertising. But the equation is it's going to cost you time or money or both. So, pick one. So if you don't want to spend money on major advertising, which costs tens of thousands of dollars a month to do it right, and then you have to have the staff to whittle through all these leads, this is a really good way to go with content marketing. Instead, you're pulling people towards you rather than pushing yourself on somebody. So I've been using it forever and it works very well. But here's the big question. How do you create great content? So the beauty, pun intended, is that plastic surgeons have built-in content just by being a plastic surgeon. Because if you think about it, you have limited patient content. So that would be prospective patients visiting you for consultations and pre-surgical patients excited and nervous about their upcoming surgery. Then you've got the surgical patients who are recuperating. Then you have post-op surgical patients returning for their follow-up appointments. And then you've got ecstatic patients fully recovered and loving their results. So each patient has a different story at each phase of their journey. So that's a lot of content you can capture. But there's also so much more. You also have limitless practice content that you're in charge of. So it's things like FAQs for each of your procedure. And by the way, those can all be turned into a book. And I highly recommend a book. It's a big game changer. Added new treatments and procedures. Interesting things that happen in your practice. Perhaps you renovated, or maybe you built your own practice, or you just moved to a new place. That's content. Staff stories, birthdays, anniversaries. And then you throw in your personal stories about your family, your hobbies, and so on. So that's all the content, but here's what you really need. I highly suggest You hire someone who's adept at videotaping you, video editing, and they're really clear about how social media works as a lead gen mechanism. So that way they're capturing the day in the life of a plastic surgeon, but that's only half the battle. The other half is getting all of this content creation distributed online where prospective cosmetic patients will actually see it and stop and notice and then act on it. So the secret to content marketing is to create great content that can be repurposed for many platforms, since prospective cosmetic patients are scattered all over the internet. Now, since everyone uses a variety of social media platforms to get their information, I'm sorry, not just social media, all sorts of platforms. We're all over the place now. So how do you be everywhere? Well, the easiest way to determine which platforms will give you the best audience reach, then you develop a systematic plan to regularly upload content to those platforms. And I'll go through those in a minute. So for example, have your staff take photos and videotape you doing a live patient consultation, since you're most comfortable in that scenario. Just be yourself and do and say what you normally do and say. Now, that's why you're going to hire this really good person, because now they're going to repurpose that video by uploading it to YouTube, Vimeo, IGTV, and Facebook Watch. Then they're going to transcribe the audio into articles, blog posts, press releases, and even can be used for real self Q&A. Then they're going to upload the photos of that consultation to Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Snapchat, and any others you are active on. And then they're going to turn that recording into your own podcast show and upload to top podcast platforms. But be forewarned, this is not a one-time event. This is ongoing, consistent, interesting content creation that is regularly posted. Yes, it takes time and effort, but if you want a steady stream of new cosmetic patients, content marketing is a proven way to get them. And that is it for today. I hope that was helpful to you. Please, if you feel so inclined, subscribe to Beauty and the Biz. I'd love a great review. And then if you've got any feedback or questions, because I'm going to be covering a lot of this in more detail, but I wanted to give you the general feel for content creation, because I really do believe it's one of the marketing strategies that's working right now to attract patients, and you have control over it more than you do expensive advertising. So I believe it's something you really want to take a look at. But if you've got some feedback or questions, please feel free to drop me a question at my website, CatherineMaley.com, or you can always DM me at Instagram at Catherine Maley MBA. Thanks so much, and we'll talk soon.
We hope you found valuable insight on this episode of Beauty and the Biz. For more episodes, tools, and Catherine's free book, visit www.catherinemaley.com. That's www.catherinemaley.com. And be sure to subscribe to get the latest practice building strategies delivered to you. And don't forget to share this Beauty and the Biz podcast with your staff and colleagues.